It was about meeting people one-on-one and hearing what was going on in their lives. Learning about the businesses that folks were trying to keep afloat, about the home that someone loved but could no longer afford, the spouse who came back from the war and still needed a lot of help, learning about the child who was so smart, who could be anything she wanted if her parents could just find a way to pay that tuition. And these stories moved me. And even more than that, these stories were familiar to me because they were my stories. In the parents working that extra shift or taking that extra job, I saw Barack's mother, young single mom struggling to support Barack and his sister. I saw my father, who dragged himself to work at the city water plant every day. Even as he got weaker from MS, my father was determined to be our family's provider. It was important to him. In the grandparents coming out of retirement to pitch in and help make ends meet, I saw my own mother, who has helped us raise our girls from the day they were born, and that has meant the world to us. I saw Barack's grandmother, who caught that bus to work before dawn every day to help be the primary provider for their family. In the children I met, who were worried about a mom who's lost her job or dad deployed far away. Of course, those kids so full of promise and dreams, I couldn't help but see my own daughters, who were at the center of my world. And see, the beauty of these folks and these stories, they weren't asking for much. They were looking for some basic things, like being able to see a doctor when you're sick. Things like having a decent public schools and a chance to send kids to college even if you're not rich. Things like making a decent wage and having a secure retirement. Maybe leaving something better for your kids. And while we may have all grown up in different places and seem different in some ways, again, their stories were my family stories. Their stories were Barack's family stories. And the values, things like you treat people how you want to be treated. You put your family first always. Young people, you work hard in everything you do. You do what you say you're going to do. All those values were values that our families passed down to us. And then suddenly, everything Barack had been saying about how we're all interconnected and about how we're not just red states and blue states, those were no longer just lines from a speech. It was what I was actually seeing with my own eyes. And that changed me. And you know what else changed me? You all changed me. During those months on the campaign trail, you changed me. When I got tired, I would think about all you folks out there making calls and little kids knocking on doors and freezing cold. I know you remember that. And that would get me energized. When I got discouraged, I would think about all the folks opening up their wallets, even when they didn't have much to give. I would think about folks who had the courage to let themselves believe again and hope again, and that would give me hope. And the simple truth is that today, 4 years later, we're here because of you. And I'm not just talking about winning an election. I'm talking about what we've been doing every day in the White House since then.